US stock futures are pointing higher this morning, giving Wall Street a cautiously optimistic start to the new trading week. Futures contracts tied to the Dow Jones Industrial Average, the S&P 500, and the Nasdaq Composite are all in positive territory ahead of the opening bell. That means buyers have the early edge, though it is worth saying clearly that pre-market futures are a mood indicator, not a guarantee. A lot can change between now and when trading officially opens. So what is driving the early optimism? Markets have spent recent weeks closely tracking three things: signals from the Federal Reserve on interest rates, incoming data on inflation and jobs, and broader questions about how strong the US economy actually is. When any of those areas shifts, stocks tend to feel it quickly. The positive futures tone this morning suggests investors are, for now, leaning toward the view that the picture holds together. But the week ahead has plenty of potential to shake that mood. Key economic data releases are on the calendar. Corporate earnings updates could move individual stocks and broader indexes, and any fresh remarks from Federal Reserve officials will be passed closely for clues about where interest rates are headed next. The Fed's next move on rates remains one of the most watched questions in markets right now. Bond markets will also be in focus this week. When Treasury yields rise sharply, it tends to put pressure on stocks, especially in sectors sensitive to interest rates, like technology and real estate. The relationship between bonds and equities has been tight lately, so a move in one often ripples into the other. It is also worth keeping overnight risks in mind. Global market developments, geopolitical headlines, or economic data released before the opening bell can all flip early futures moves on their head. A positive pre-market reading at 5 in the morning can look very different by 9:30. The broader backdrop for equities right now is one of careful optimism under pressure. The Fed's rate path is still uncertain. Inflation is cooling, but not in a straight line. The labor market remains relatively healthy, though investors are watching for any cracks. Markets are pricing all of this in week by week, adjusting as new information arrives. That is the environment heading into this week. Early futures are green, but the session is far from written. The practical takeaway: treat this morning's positive futures as a starting point, not a conclusion. Watch for economic data and any Fed commentary due this week. Those releases are more likely to set the week's real direction than anything happening in pre-market trading right now. This briefing is brought to you by First Financial News. Clear daily coverage of the economy and markets at firstfinancialnews.com.